Good morning, Professor. This is Jesse Lawson. Today, I'm going over our last experiment, our last lab. It is eye anatomy and reflexes for Bio 250. This is my office. This is the space that I will be working in. There are no study materials present other than I have my handout to follow along with. And that's it. Okay. So, let's see. We'll start with the exterior. Here we have the cranial nerve 2, our optic nerve. All around the eye, we have our extrinsic eye muscles. This flap here would be our cornea. The sclera would be the brown part here. Basically, the whites of our eyes. Moving on to the interior, coronal section, we have the anterior chamber, which would be the chamber between the cornea and the iris pupil. It's filled with aqueous humorous. You can still see there's some left down in it, but a lot of it drained out when I opened it up. Next, you'll have the pupil. The pupil is the space in the iris. The iris is, you can barely see it. Let me just cut this open. See the iris here. It dilates, and it is right. The black ring inside here. All right, moving on. We have our lens. Inside you can see the retina. And then on the very back, that's our choroid. And that's it with that. Let's see. So I examined my eyes before we started. Let's see. So number one, what happens to the diameter of the right pupil when you shine the flashlight into the right eye? So the diameter of the pupil will constrict and become smaller. Question 2, through which structures, openings, and chambers of the eye does the light from the flashlight pass in order to reach the retina? So we start, light enters the eye through the cornea. It passes through the pupil. It hits the lens and goes to the retina. Well, it hits the lens, and then it goes through the vitreous humerus, and then hits the retina. Okay, let's see, moving on. Which structures serve as the sensory, or the sensor and the effector of the pupillary light reflex? The sensory would be the retina, and the effector would be the effector would be the smooth muscles of the pupil. Moving on, which cranial nerves are required for the pupillary light reflex? That would be the optic, the ocular motor, the trigeminal, and the facial nerves. Let's see. What happens to the diameter of the left pupil when you briefly shine the flashlight into the right eye? On normal active, they both will dilate, or they'll constrict when you shine the light, and then they should dilate back after the light's removed. We use these in clinic, in-house, in the hospital, to see if any of the cranial nerves are messed up. So they both should constrict simultaneously. If you have one that constricts and one that stays dilated, then that might be an indicator for some type of trauma. But And that's it. Thank you for your time.